Some cities were protected not by one great wall, but by difficult water. Venice rose inside a shallow lagoon at the head of the Adriatic. That made it unusual from the beginning. This was not a city placed on an open plain or a normal coast. It was a city hidden inside mudflats, islands, and tidal channels. In Venice, rare geography itself became power. Venice did not sit directly on the exposed sea. It sat behind barrier islands, inside a watery maze that was hard for large armies to cross and hard for unfamiliar ships to navigate. Yet it was still open enough to trade through the Adriatic. That combination was rare, protected from easy attack, but connected to maritime commerce. Venice grew in a landscape that rewarded water skill more than land power. The lagoon was shallow, broken, and unstable for outsiders, but manageable for people who knew its channels. That meant geography did the things at once. It reduced the danger of direct conquest, and it encouraged a society built around boats, ports, and sea movement instead of cavalry, roads, and large inland armies. Some waters do more than surround a city. They protect it. Venice rose inside a shallow lagoon where mudflats, channels, and islands made direct approach harder. This was not open coastline. It was a protected water world. Barrier islands faced the sea, and inside them lay a lagoon of shoals, flats, and narrow channels. The lagoon did not make Venice unreachable, but it made approach slower, trickier, and easier to control. Outsiders faced shallow water and limited safe passage. That is why the lagoon mattered. It weakened direct land attack and forced movement into difficult water space. Venice was protected by a watery maze between mainland and city. Some water defenses come from narrow entry. Venice did not face the Adriatic as one open shore. Access into its lagoon passed through limited channels. This was not open water everywhere. Barrier islands blocked much of the coast. Movement between sea and lagoon depended on a few workable inlets. The channels did not close Venice off, but they narrowed approach into known routes. That made entry easier to watch, guide, defend, or block. That is why narrow channels mattered. Venice stayed connected to the sea, but not equally open from every direction. Geography turned access into managed corridors. Some cities are shaped by the roads around them. Venice was shaped by water inside it. The city grew across islands linked by canals. Water here was not only outside defense, it ran through the city itself. The Grand Canal became an internal route for trade, traffic, and exchange. Because Venice stood on islands, daily life adapted to canals, landings, and crossings. The city worked less like a road grid and more like a water-based urban system. That is why island form mattered. Venice did not simply sit beside water, it was organized by it. Geography produced a dense urban system fitted to maritime life. Some cities are protected by the water near them. Venice also gained power from the water beyond it. At the top of the Adriatic, the city opened into a long maritime corridor. Venice did not face an open ocean, it faced the Adriatic, a narrower sea that connected the city to the eastern Mediterranean. That gave Venice a clear direction for trade, travel, and expansion. Because Venice sat near the head of this sea, inland goods could meet ships moving down the Adriatic. The city became a hinge between its European hinterland and maritime routes to the south and east. That is why the Adriatic mattered. It gave Venice not just access, but direction. Lagoon security and long-range sea routes worked together, helping Venice grow into a maritime republic. A geography like this favors a maritime commercial power more than a broad land empire. It rewards fleets, merchants, naval defense, and careful control of access points. It also favors a state that thinks in terms of harbors, convoys, islands, and sea lanes rather than open field conquest. That is why Venice became a republic of trade and maritime strategy, not a conventional territorial kingdom. That is why Venice was so unusual. Its geography was rare enough to shape the whole character of the city. Lagoon water reduced the power of land armies. Narrow channels made access selective, islands and canals shaped urban life. And Adriatic position turned protection into commerce. Venice was not just a city near water. It was a city made possible by one of the strangest urban settings in history.